Welcome to the Millionaire Race podcast, where we empower you to maximize your potential and better your financial standing. Why? So that collectively we can solve many of the socio-economic problems that face the African American demographic today. My name is Toxi Ogunyemi, your host, and as always, it's a pleasure having you on the show with us today. Please like and subscribe to the show so that you can get alerted when new episodes become available. And the more likes we get, the wider the audience that gets to hear this podcast, which of course helps get our message out there. That is definitely one way you can help us. The show continues to get more and more listeners, and that's because of you. Our sincere gratitude and thanks go out to you. Another way to broaden the scope of the show is for you to send us any emails on questions you may have, ideas, or things that you would like to comment on. Just send us an email at toxy@themillrace.com. That's Toxy, Toksy, at themillrace, TheMillrace.com. Drop us a line and we'll be happy to get back to you as soon as we can. African Americans make up 12% of the United States population, but only control 2% of the wealth of this nation. That's a statement that I make often because it's true and explains many of the socio-economic problems that the African American demographic faces today. Lack of money, lack of resources affects the things that a community can do. It brings out the worst in any society, regardless of skin color. It's a plight that we face today, hence this show and why we are trying to make a difference. Our solution is for every African American household, of which there are 19 million of them as of the last census. Our solution is that each household should attain a net worth of $1 million or more. More funds flowing through our community, not by government grants or benevolence from the government, but from each of us as individuals, maximizing our potential and growing what we have, will dramatically change the African American experience today. A net worth of $1 million sounds like a hard goal to attain, but you can do it. You certainly can. And that's why we put together what I call the 5-3-1 method for financial success. 5 foundational items of things you need to be doing right away. 3 growth items that once the 5 foundations are put in place, the growth items will help you grow. And then 1 overarching thing that covers them all. We've been going over these items one by one over the last few weeks. We completed the 5 foundational items. And last week, we started on the first of the 3 growth items. So if you haven't heard any of those episodes, I'd encourage you to go back and listen to those first, as that will give you a foundation and a step-by-step guide on how to approach handling your finances in order to attain the goal that we're talking about. Today's topic is a special one. Special because it isn't usually one of the main topics in a financial series. However, this series is unique. It's unique because we focus mainly on the African American situation and what we need in our community to significantly move us forward financially. Today, we're talking about the second item in the growth portion of the 5-3-1 method, and that is continuing education. Yes, the second item in the growth portion of the 5-3-1 method is continuing education. Not just education, but continuing education. This is another critical piece in our running and winning the millionaire race. So what do I mean by continuing education? Well, in order to have continuing education, you must first have education, right? It all starts with education. But even before that, we have to take a quick walk down memory lane and revisit some of our African American history. I really don't like delving back into the dark days of slavery, but once in a while we have to dig back there in order to unearth some of the truths on what is happening in our society today. During the time of slavery, one of the mechanisms with which the African American people were held back was by not allowing them to learn to read and write. It was pretty much a crime to teach an African American how to read and write, how to get educated. It was understood that if they were able to read and write, they'd be able to grow, they'd be able to expand, most likely revolt, escape, all kinds of things. An educated person thinks differently, knows how to communicate differently, knows how to plan differently. And so they tried to make sure that education was impossible to get. Even after the abolishment of slavery, if you look back in history, there were some things called the Black Codes that were set up. These were even before the Jim Crow laws. And all these things were put in place to stop the African American from being able to grow educationally, financially, so that they wouldn't be strong. And unfortunately, the effects of all those things have filtered down into our society today. Reports show that only 35% of the African American population has completed an associate's degree or higher. That's very low. Only 35%. That means 65% of the population don't have an associate's degree or higher. For some very strange reason, we feel that completing high school is sufficient in most cases for you to be able to go out into the world and succeed. There's a prevalent thought out there that you don't need a college degree at all, and you can easily do without one and so have a choice. The result of us telling ourselves that college isn't for everyone is that now, suddenly, it has become for no one. That's the only reason why we have such a low number of people who have completed an associate's degree or higher. That's associate's degree. It's not even a full 4-year bachelor's degree. The world is full of knowledge and progressing fast, and we are competing with people who are learning different things. We're competing with people who have college degrees, and where you might strike it lucky to get into a field or something that does not require a college degree. But for every one person that attains or achieves that, there are thousands that don't. Not getting a college degree shuts the doors to so many things and limits a lot of what we can do, especially in this world today. We live in one of the greatest countries in the world, a country that's filled with all kinds of great things, all kinds of technologies, all kinds of knowledge, of science, of arts. It's all there for us. There are so many countries in the world that don't have 1,000th, not even 1/10 or 100th, 1,000th of what is here in the United States. That's why when foreigners come here, they avail themselves of the knowledge that's here. We have immigrants who have come into the country from different parts of the world, and they and all their children are becoming doctors and lawyers and engineers and architects and computer scientists and computer engineers. They don't see college degrees as an option. They see it as a doorway for bigger and better things, for becoming part of the building blocks of society. So we can't afford to get left behind. When we talk about education, a high school education is good to get, but it's not enough. And I will never accept that a majority of the African American population do not have the aptitude to go to college. I won't accept that because it's not true. College is hard. I know it is. But when you are young is the easiest time to do something as hard as going to college. Why? Because 1, you're young, and 2, you don't have as many responsibilities at that time. The older you get, the harder it is because you have other things to think about. So when you're young, when you're just out of high school, that's the best time to tackle this and knock it out. Now, yes, you could go into a college course that's too hard for you or one that you're not interested in. So getting guidance to doing the right course that suits you is important. I know a lot of people. I was speaking to somebody the other day who went into a course that was too hard for him, and rather than switch to something else, unfortunately, he quit altogether and regrets it now. So getting into the right course is definitely important, but understanding that going to college is crucial, especially for us African Americans, is important. So please, as you listen to this podcast, if you have gone to college, that's great. If you haven't, that's okay. You can always continue to learn. We'll talk about other ways, other things to learn as we move on. But then for your children, please let them know they can do it. Inspire them to go to college and help them to pick the right field that they're good at. But a college degree is crucial for us as a community. There are now several reports out there that show that a person with a college degree earns $1.2 million more in their working life than someone who does not have a college degree. That's the millionaire race itself right there. That's winning it. Just by getting a college degree, you make $1 million more than somebody without it. That's part of what we give up when we don't go to college. The reality is we get paid for what we know. So the more you know, the more likely you get paid. The more educated you are, the more likely to be paid more for that education that you have. Because with that education, you're able to solve problems. That's really what we're paid for. Solving problems. In the process of solving problems, we are helping people. So the more you know, the more able you are to do it. There are some people with learning disabilities, and going to college may be hard, but that's a small fraction. Most people can go and should be encouraged to go, should be challenged to go, and not just to go, to finish. It's not easy, but it can be done. And it opens up a whole new world for us when you do that. So that's the education piece. But the topic for today is continuing education. And when I say continuing education, that's because even if you've earned a college degree, you still have to keep learning. In today's fast-moving environment, things are changing all the time. You have to keep learning. You have to keep growing. That's how you increase your income. That's how you increase your possibilities, your opportunities of growth in your workplace, in setting up your own business. You have to keep growing. Wherever you're working right now, things are changing. Processes are getting automated. AI is the new big thing that's taking over a lot of things. And if you're not growing, you're going to get left behind. So we're talking about continuing education for you to continue to learn. So wherever you are, your current position, there is stuff to learn. You can learn stuff in your position. You can learn stuff in other positions to merge with yours, to help you with growth. Because where you are today, you certainly don't want to be in the same place this time next year. You need to have grown, and you do that by continuing to learn. My wife was at one of these big box stores the other day, and they had people going around encouraging people, showing them with their new AI systems how to scan as they go. Now that's been out for a while, but they're really pushing that now. The technology has improved drastically. And with the AI, they're able to scan and make sure that people aren't stealing anything, and they're scanning everything correctly. And so they're showing her how to scan everything as she goes. Her trolley was full, and by the time she had finished picking everything she wanted, she was pretty much done. And she said as she walked past the checkout area, there was nobody there because everybody was doing the same thing she was doing. And so she asked them and said, well, this software is great, but isn't it putting you out of a job? And they said, yes, but well, and when she told me this story, I said, no, it's not putting you out of a job. It's not putting them out of a job. It's just giving them the opportunity to work in bigger and better parts of the company. But that's only if they're growing. If all they can do and all they choose to do is to be a cashier and they don't need cashiers anymore, well, guess what? They won't have a job. But if they've been learning other things, more important things, they'll be able to be moved to other parts of the company. That's the same with us. No matter what job you're in, you have to keep growing so that even if your position is no longer required, you are now capable of moving into a different position, of moving into a different field. You never want to be stuck in a place because that's all you can do. You can always be learning. And how do you learn? Well, you learn by reading books. You learn by taking short courses online. You learn by talking to others. You learn by watching others, going and having some additional schooling. I'm taking some additional courses right now. I don't have to, but it's important to keep growing to learn how to improve your business, how to be better at the work that you're doing. Knowledge does not stop. You must continue to educate yourself. Whether or not you have a college degree, wherever you are right now, you must continue to educate yourself. Where you are this time next year, 2 years from now, should be way ahead of where you are today based on the things that you've learned. You are where you are today based on the decisions you made 5, 10 years ago. And you will be in another position 10 years from now based on the decisions you make today. So let's go ahead and decide to educate ourselves continuously. Let's keep learning. Let's keep growing. I'd like to reiterate one thing, because some of us listening to this podcast may not have college degrees. That's fine. If you don't have a college degree right now, there's still learning that can be done. There's certificate courses out there. Anything that's of interest to you, you can do and grow in it. So even though I encourage all of us to certainly aspire to getting college degrees for ourselves and for our children, it's okay if you don't have one now. It doesn't stop us from continuing to educate ourselves, which we must do. As an African American community, we must be well educated. When we're well educated, you can't be taken advantage of. We can grow, develop, help, strengthen, encourage, produce all these wonderful things that we are capable of. We can do, but we have to learn how to do it. We have to educate ourselves on the best way to accomplish these things. Education is key. It's something that they didn't want us to have, and now we have access to it. Let's take advantage of those opportunities that we have. Let's educate ourselves and continue that education. Let's keep it going. Never stop. Continuing education is crucial to our running and winning the millionaire race. My name is Toxio Gunyemi. God bless you, and I'll see you next time.